All right, welcome to the Feedback Podcast, everybody. This is back. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Couple announcements. Number one, go to youtube.com/the feedback and subscribe. I'm up to date on all the episodes as far as the videos. You can go back and watch. I had the guys from We Funk Radio on the show. Mike Eden was on the show. Maxwell and Caitlin Benson from Can't Even Comedy were on. Also, my last episode, actually, I had a lot of fun doing it. I don't really do a lot of shows by myself, but I wanted to, reflect on my trip to back home to Senegal and France. So talked about the food, the people, the culture, the nightlife. I got to do comedy in Paris. That shit was dope. So yeah, go back and listen to that. Now, let me introduce my guest. Actually, second announcement. Man, I'm rusty. Goddamn, take a break for a month and I can't do intros no more. Second announcement. The record play is back on February. I can't say February. The 16th at Soho House. All right. I'm making an announcement even though the RSVP list is closed, full. Like I put that shit out on Sunday. By Monday night, I was already at 40. It was that quick. And I was like, let me put it 3 weeks in advance because I know people wait, when they don't want to commit to anything. But man, that shit went out quickly. And I'm actually over 50 now, so I'm going to have to pick and choose who gets to go. That's going to be tough. Or they might, bump me up a little bit to 60, and we'll see. But anyway, follow Record Play Live for updates. The theme is the R&B edition. Hosted by DJ K. Cali and Key Data from Brothers Against the Storm. So if you missed that one and this one does well, I think we'll be back at Soho House. I'm really excited about it. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Victor. And we'll see how that goes. So my guest, as always, you love him, you hate him, you love to hate him. Aaron Cheatham is in the building.
Who the fuck said they hated me?
They love to hate you.
Who
or hate to
hate
love
me?
you. I don't know. They out there.
If you out there and you got hate in your heart for me, you can eat a whole bag of assholes. How about that? All dirty, duty chalked up assholes. Don't come at me with the hate. I'll tell you right now, your mama got 3 toes and her knees ain't touched since 1964. Fucking talk shit to me, bitch. Who out there got the hate? Who brought the venom?
Coming out strong for 2023. Happy New Year, fuckers.
You came out talking about niggas talking shit. Where they at, though?
I don't know. They out there. They gotta be haters out there.
Let them.
Good for you. Actually, congrats on that thing you got coming up at Creek for the Kenan Thompson.
The Kenan Thompson thing.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's a thing.
You're not excited about it? No. What's the point? What's the goal of it? Is it they're taping it for something?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
But you were picked. I mean,
yeah.
Kelly's on it. I saw Dean's on it.
Everybody's on it.
Everybody's Miles on it.
It's a competition of sorts or whatnot. I mean, historically, I don't do great in competitions, but I'm always down, for the experience and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm gonna give it my all. It's not like I'm gonna go up there and just go shit the bed. But
I know not. You don't do that.
Yeah, no. So, but as far as what it is and like what happens I don't know any of that. It's just cool. Get to come do a set at the Creek, for this thing. I hope everybody comes out. I know a few people got tickets already, but it'd be dope to see everybody out there. But good luck to everybody.
Yeah,
good luck to everybody. I mean,
nice.
I love so many people that are in the thing.
Yep.
That like, I'm really. It seems like it's gonna be a really fun fucking show. It seems like it's gonna be a good time, and I'm in it for that. Like ever since I recorded the album, I've just been like so in love with like watching comedy and being around comedy that like in a way that like kind of got away from me for a while. Where I can just sit in the show now and like just laugh my ass. Like I enjoy them on a completely different level now. So
because you were a fan to begin with.
I was a fan to begin with, but when you're trying, like when I was in the weeds of trying to get ready to record and all that stuff,
right?
A part of that, like I just didn't appreciate that stuff because I was so focused on getting ready for this thing, and since then now like I'll sit in the back by Dylan and just be laughing my ass off, just feeling the energy. Like it's great, and this show's gonna be dope. Like there's gonna be a lot of badass comics on both days on the 7 to 9 o'clock on Tuesday.
Right.
The 7 to 9 o'clock on Wednesday. It's gonna be tons of great
The
comics.
31st and the 1st of February.
It's gonna, the energy in there is gonna be dope, man. Like I can't wait to just be up in there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about. I don't know if we get like a bag of candy or if somebody's gonna put me on a
They
rocket
give you a
ship to the
Mars
moon.
bar and a blanket.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe like the winner gets the White Keenan's ass. I don't know what happens.
Nice, why not?
I don't know. But
Is he gonna be there?
No, he ain't gonna.
Of course
Keenan
not.
gonna be there.
He got shit to do.
No, him and Kel, they got to serve Good Burgers. He can't get time off from Good Burgers to come down here and be on this thing. No, but it's gonna be dope. And like, there's so many dope comics on. I just wanna kick back and watch, man.
So before we get into the meat of the episode, I got 2 questions for you.
You wanna ask me about
One.
that cake, don't you?
No, that wasn't one of them.
Okay.
But yeah, so he's a master baker, pastry chef.
Watch how you say that.
Master baker.
Yeah.
He's a master baker. He loves to masturbate.
What are you doing in the kitchen? I'm masturbating.
Master bacon.
Close the door. I'm masturbating.
I got that glaze. What you know about that glaze?
What you know about that icing, baby?
Yeah, master baker. Really good.
Thank you.
And like I told you, I just came from France, so I don't desserts are the bar is low in this country. So when I ate something good, and I'm not a cake guy, I'm not a chocolate guy, but legit, that was actually pretty good.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was. That wasn't one of my questions. So.
Ooh, can I on that though? Because I just thought of something.
Oh crap! Go ahead.
Quickly, I'm throwing this out there because I bounced a lot of things off of you, right?
Right.
You're a good sounding board.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. I go on the road,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of merch, I'm selling cakes.
Actually, but how do they?
Like, say I get like some little boxes made or whatever.
Right.
Cheatham, whatever, right? And a little autograph on it. And after the show, instead of buying a T-shirt or whatever, you can get a cake for merch, right? And like,
Do you sell them?
yeah, like if I baked cakes and shit, and then I'd sell them, and people buy cakes, because I mean that cake ain't that ain't no $5 Randall's Kroger cake. That's
This ain't no HEB cake.
This ain't no HEB cake. That's
Right.
that's some good shit right there. I can maybe move some of those, and I could take Patti LaBelle's spot. Can't you see my face in Walmart?
I'll do you one more.
Do you think that'll work?
Yeah, hold on. I'll do you one more.
Okay.
So not only you do that, so you individually wrap the cakes. So you're not out there just cutting slices
Facts.
and giving them out, right?
Yeah, they're already packaged.
Already packaged.
Yeah.
On the package itself,
Mm-hmm.
you put the QR code to your Instagram.
Facts. Okay.
So like, hey, thanks for buying the cake. Scan the box. Follow them on Instagram. Here's your cake.
Boom. And here's what I was thinking, like, cause sometimes.
How much first? Like $5?
So like I'd say I probably sell like quarter cake, right? Quarter, like a nice little chunk. You can share it with your boo.
Right.
You right?
Like a square.
Yeah. Like hen and hen.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, you don't know what hand and hand means. Hand and hand.
Hen and hen.
It's a square.
Hen.
I'm so glad it's gonna be video. It's going hand and hand.
They knew what the fuck I meant.
No, you guys know hand and hand. Nobody knows hand.
Because they were following. It's called context clues. The hand means here and hand means there. So if I cut from hand to hand and give it to them.
It's not one hand.
Shut the hand up before
Okay, so you have a hand cupcake.
Yes, you get I can do cupcakes even.
You're welcome.
But it's like a quarter piece of cake, nice slice piece of cake, and you sell that for like $20. And if there's any questions like FDA approval, whatever, I'll tell them I'm not selling the cake. I'm actually selling the packaging, which can have the QR code. And it's like my face on it or something. And then, like I say, if I autograph it when I give it to them, then there just happened to be a cake inside the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
The cake was free. I didn't sell the cake to nobody. I sold them the box and a picture. $20.
What they gonna do with a picture? I think
That's just to get the laws off your ass. You ain't got to take a fucking
actually
picture.
the only concern you gotta have with that is because comedy clubs or restaurants, you bring in food from outside, which could be an issue. So you need to clear that first.
Then I'll sell the shit in the parking lot. This cake is so goddamn good.
Yeah,
I
you
will
can
pop
do
the
that
trunk
too.
and I will slang some goddamn.
Make sure you gotta be like 20 feet away from the door.
Man, fuck that. We ain't smoking crack. We selling cakes.
You slinging cakes. What you
I
doing?
am slinging cakes. Listen here, I'm your cake man, all right? You know, I was never a pie guy. I've always been a cake man, all right? I'm slinging cakes.
Okay, do that. That's a good
whip,
idea.
Out the whip. Hey.
Say, hey, by the way, I'll be outside in the parking lot if you want
From
them
now
cakes.
on, I'm just going to start
I'm
posting.
the master caker.
On Instagram, I'm just going to post where I'm going to be tonight, and people show up and get them cakes off me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm slanging
Tell
cakes.
you what, you don't even have to be booked. You can be in the parking lot doing a set.
I'm just going to start showing up.
Just showing up in parking lots. Just doing sets.
I'm in the alley behind the creek slinging cake and shit.
Yeah. You turn out, you know what?
Rebecca runs me off with the broom and a water hose. Get out of here selling them cakes.
You know what I haven't seen? A traveling food truck, comedy food truck.
Ooh, the gas mileage on that shit's probably terrible though. And insurance would be a bitch if you're gonna be moving around like that. That's a terrible idea fiscally, but I like it.
But something along those.
Spiritually, I love the idea.
Or even better, it's not your food truck. You call a food truck company and you say where you gonna be, or wherever they at. Like, hey, I'm gonna be. You're doing a food truck tour. That's what I'm trying to say. So you show up at I don't know, Home Slice or whatever cupcake food truck. You do a set there and you go, hey, I'm gonna be selling my cakes there, whatever. But what I'm saying is, get it to where you put on your own shows, or just out in the parking lot next to a food truck.
Pop the trunk.
Yeah.
Start slanging cakes and telling jokes.
Yeah. It's like selling CDs back in the day.
I'm gonna fuck a lot of housewives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do it with only food trucks who complement the cake. So no other food options, like a
no
drink, like a juice.
No goddamn, not next to the cupcake shop because then I got to square off with Becky behind the trailer. And
Exactly. She's gonna hit on you like, oh, this motherfucker's taking all my customers.
Right, and I'm not afraid to put hands on a baker.
True.
Yeah.
You're a master baker.
Smack shit. You had two things.
What's the other? Oh, what's up with the come up?
What's up with the come up?
Yeah.
It's coming.
Okay. Good answer.
It's coming.
All right.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah. No, it's coming.
All right. All right. So.
You had another one?
No, that was my two.
No, because I threw the cake thing out there.
No, it was the special.
Oh, the special.
Yeah.
Special's coming too.
Special. You talk more about the cake than your special.
This is me actually doing work. You see where my interests are now, right?
I see. I'm
recording the special now. I'm fucking Mr. Baker Man and shit. I'm pushing cakes out. Special's coming along. We were thinking it would be initially maybe mid-February. Now it's looking like it might be mid-March or so.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go meet with them tonight and see where they're at. I met up with them last week. It's just the holidays kind of put everything behind a little bit.
Sure, like that for everything.
Yeah, and then getting back into the flow of things. So I saw where they were at last week. It looks good, but it's not nowhere near done. So and where I'm at right now, I'd rather do it right than do it fast. And
no, it makes sense.
There's no look, nobody's banging down the door trying to get the special office right now. So there's no rush, there's no pressure for us to get it done. We have internal deadlines that we're trying to meet, but we're not trying to make it something that's gonna make us come out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want it to be done right. We're gonna take our time and do it right, and we've got everybody's involvement from the jump and kind of like making sure that we do this thing the right way.
Good.
So,
well, I'm excited for you.
Appreciate you.
To see it. I was there, and I can't wait to see it like edited and everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I think y'all are gonna like it almost as much as you like my cakes. Find me in the parking lots, y'all. Nigga is slanging cakes.
Slanging cakes
out the truck, nigga. Cheatham cakes.
That's right. All right. So, as you know, if you're a long-time listener, or it doesn't matter, this podcast has had like two revamps, I would say. If you go from episode 1 to episode like 150 something, it was all about Austin nightlife. So you can go back and listen to talking to DJs, talking to the mayor about the music scene, DJs.
Got your own day in this town.
Got my own day and shit. Talked to a lot of musicians, door guys, bartenders, all that good stuff. So that was my days where I was out there doing all that stuff. Then it switched over to more current events. That was more during the pandemic. Talked about Black Lives Matter, the elections, more current event stuff. And then as of like 180, I think, is when it was straight comedy, right? So it's been a couple of years now. And I've been thinking about another revamp, because don't get me wrong, I love talking to comedians, but I feel like there's way too many comedy podcasts out there. Comedians get in the room, talk shit. There's hundreds of them out there. So I wanted to figure out what could I do different. If you listen to the show, we do this thing at the end of every show called Share Dope Shit, where we talk about, hey, this is something that I think you should know about. It could be a book, it could be a TV show, it could be a porn site, it could be a game, it could be a website, YouTube channel, whatever, something that's dope. And that's part of that's one of my favorite part of the show, because I love to share what I like, and I like a lot of shit. And I feel like I wouldn't be doing the podcast with a name like Feedback, a service, if I didn't say, hey, this is what I think is dope. You should check. This is my 3 things I think you should check out. So, what we're gonna try to do, what we're gonna be doing, and Aaron is here to help me out with that, is we're gonna pick 3 things, top 3 things, and then just go back and forth. So I say one, you say one, and pick a topic. Today's topic is replayable video games.
So just for clarification,
Mm-hmm.
for anybody else who was listening in the back talk and said, "Wait, what the fuck is going on?" He's cutting out all the bullshit. We cutting out all the bullshit. We just getting straight to the dope shit, right?
Right,
The
exactly.
dope shit is your shit.
Exactly.
So all the other rest of the podcast, that was fine and dandy, but
Like the
shit
cakes and all that stuff.
yeah, that shit you really wanted to get to the whole fucking interview was, let's talk about some dope shit. But here we go. We ain't gotta do all the interview shit. Let's just talk about some dope shit.
Exactly.
And
We
this
just
week's
wasted
dope shit for
15
the
minutes.
first time is no, that's not wasted. That's called setup. Now they're in for the ride. All right, that's it now.
Thank you, Mr. Co-producer here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They know that there's at least 2 more callbacks to cakes coming in this show.
You have a game making cakes.
So we were talking about most replayable video games.
Yep.
In our opinions, our most replayable video games. We don't give a fuck about what the consensus says.
Mm-hmm.
These are our fucking most replayable games.
Right, and by the way, if this works out, I would field questions from the audience and be like, hey, what's your 3 of whatever?
Right.
So, but for now, whoever comes, and I still have comedians on. Don't trip. Comedians have interest
I ain't
too.
going nowhere, nigga. I'm gonna be right.
Yeah, I know. So you might end up just being us too. every week.
I'm here every month, nigga. This is what we do.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
But it could be everything and anything. So today, replayable video games. You want to go first?
Are you gonna put me on the spot? I'll find it. I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no doubt. These are not in numerical order.
Okay.
And I will give my final order after we go through our 3.
All right.
Off top, first thing I'll bring up is Fallout 2.
Wait, hold on. Fallout is first-person shooter, right?
When it went to console, yes.
Oh, it wasn't before?
No, the first 2 games on the PC were turn-based RPG.
Oh.
Massive world, turn-based RPG games. And Fallout 2 is my favorite of the whole Fallout series. Like I could have said the Fallout series because I played the shit out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
As far as console goes, Fallout 3 or New Vegas are the best on the console. But Fallout 2 is that nigga. Like, understand me. Like, Fallout 2...
What about this nigga makes it that nigga?
For me...
What was the switch?
Huh?
Well, first of all, do you have it?
No, because I don't have a PC for gaming right now. And this came out in like fucking 2000, 99, 2000, something like that. I played Fallout 2 in college. And...
Were you skipping classes to play it? It was like
some days there was like that, yeah. But it was so my roommate had the game on the computer, and like we set our rules in the room. Once you get on, if the other person's there,
mm-hmm.
you get an hour dedicated playing time. After
mm-hmm.
that, first time you die, you got to get off I can get on.
Uh-huh.
Right? This game was so goddamn good that during the day we would put a blanket over our head and over the monitor because the sun coming in had a glare on the screen. So we would just sit in this little blanket tent in the middle of the room playing the fucking game in the middle of the day. You just walk in the room and see a nigga sitting under a blanket.
You couldn't just turn the monitor so it wouldn't face the window?
No, it was because of the way the dorm was set up.
Okay.
And Ledford was mad messy, and it was on his side.
Oh, okay, sure.
So anyways,
there's other ways.
Right. I digress. The game itself. Why is this game? Why am I telling you this is a replayable game? I had never to that point played a game that immense like that. The story was so vast. And the experience and all the things you got to experience in the game. Unparalleled to that point. Where you have a crew of just like.
What's the story?
The story is. Are you familiar with the Fallout stories at all?
No, there's a dude with a blue jumpsuit.
All right, so
that's all I know about Fallout.
The story of Fallout is that there's nuclear war, and
classic.
All these people had to go into vaults, and they were locked in these vaults for an extended period of time. Some vaults opened up at different times, and they each had were given so much supplies to last in the vault for this long, and then it's you coming out of your vault and experiencing the world that is now, right? So
which means
like you get out into the world and there's already civilization out there. There's it's the Wild West basically. This the post-apocalyptic Mad Max type shit. You got people who have been mutated through radiation and stuff that are out there.
There's monsters?
There's monsters. There's animals and stuff that you remember seeing a roach being so big before, but now because of radiation, the roaches are like fucking 2 feet big, right? Like because of radiation, and same thing with rats and pigs and stuff like that. But then you've got like other humans out there that have already set up civilizations, and there's little towns and cities, and there's raiders, and there's all these different things going on. So in Fallout 2, the game is you're like kind of an Indian. Like a Native American, right? Like
that's the face of the dude is Indian?
No. That's just the dude.
No. The dude you're playing.
Well, you can create your own character stuff, so you can make him look how you want him to look, right? This is way back.
What did yours look?
Like a little brown guy on the screen, because it was.
They couldn't do hair at the time.
Yeah, they could do all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do all that. You can, there was a preset of
like eyebrows, nose.
No, not that detailed, right? There's like 7 or 8 settings for hair, face, skin color, clothes and stuff to start off, but then you can like get different armors and shit, put stuff together. But basically, it starts off where you're a dude that is part of a tribe, and they all came from this vault, right? And they've been outside of the vault for, 2 generations or so, maybe, right? They got and enough that they've kind of just taken up, like they got teepees, like to their own place. But then the water chip that created water for your people in the vault went out. It broke, so they need to send somebody off to go explore and find another vault and bring back a water chip to save your people, to save your village.
Okay.
That's the story.
So you're that nigga.
You're that nigga that has to leave your village where all you know is fucking spears and bows and arrows, and you've been killing like man-sized iguanas. That was your whole experience to now this story takes place in California. So now you're out in fucking California in 2143 after a nuclear apocalypse, and you're just out there, and like there's a point where like you find out there's drugs and all this shit. People are you have to go to Vegas, like to was it Vegas or Reno, one or the other. But like there's 4 mob families there that have taken over.
Oh, that's pretty intricate.
Yeah, and you can I became a boxing champion in Vegas. And then you get into this thing where you kind of like figure out, because you're trying to gain experience, you're trying to find people so that along the way, this is all for you to find a fucking chip to go fix the water.
Wait, hold on.
It's nuts. How far? An entire school year I played this game.
Damn. It took you a year to beat it?
Here's the thing.
You're a completionist.
No.
No,
this is what happened. I never beat it because I got to the very end of the game. And my guy was too dumb in science to open the door. And I just needed to level up one more time so that I can upgrade my science, and then I could open this door. But once you walk into the building for the end of the game, you can't leave the building. I killed everybody in this fucking building, and I was maybe 1 or 2 kills away from getting my level up. So I was stuck in this fucking building with no way to level up, and no way to open the door to finish the game, to fight the last boss.
So you couldn't load the previous save?
I could have, but you ever...
Yes, Yes.
You ever I think this happened to all of us, where you get into a real good groove in a game and it's moving along, and you go, oh shit, I ain't saved in a minute.
Oh, you were way back.
Yeah, I hadn't saved in like hours.
Oh, that's frustrating.
So it was like, if in order for me to do that, I would have had to go back like 4 hours and do and I did so much shit. And it's like,
there was no autosave back then, huh?
No.
You have to save manually.
Yes.
Yeah, slots.
And it had been hours since I saved.
So you said, fuck it? You knew you were close.
Yeah, I knew I was there, but it was like, I went through some shit to get there.
I get that. There's always the boss you barely beat, or like you survive and then you...
I couldn't do it.
Up on
I couldn't
supplies.
do it and keep my team intact.
Oh, it's by team?
You have your team that you recruit along the way, right? You have your squad.
Actually, people playing with you?
No. Your
All right,
NPCs.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I mean, and NPCs in that game were fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
Like, there's a guy that I had named Sulik. He's like the first one that you come across.
Uh-huh.
And that was the first time I had to restart the game. It was because I met Sulik, and he was a slave, and the thing was like, go, and if you can free this guy, maybe he'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get him, and then one of the early missions that I went on, there was like a slave camp, and I was trying to figure out how I could take out these slavers.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I thought, okay, bet I'll sell somebody into slavery so that I can.
What?
So that I can. So that
wow, this is.
Wait, listen.
This is a Fallout, all right.
so that I can have an inside man, so that when I hit the place tonight, my dude will be there, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna take it over. But that's not how that went at all. I sold my boy Sulik, who was a slave, back into slavery. They tattooed slaver on my forehead, because once you start dealing with slaves, you have to be marked. So I had slaver tattooed onto my forehead, and then I went in to break in that night and free Sully and the rest of my people.
Yeah.
And he tried to kill me because I sold him into slavery. So
let me get it straight. It's a post-apocalyptic world.
This game is so crazy.
Where you gotta go get a chip, and you
got caught up in slavery.
Yeah.
I know that hits home for you.
And you got to how close were you to the end? With that door, that was it, and then this.
Oh, like when I couldn't go any further. Yeah, like literally, I had to open that door, and that was the last fight. The final boss was on the other side of that door.
And you forgot about the game.
No, I never forgot about it. That's why it's always at the top of my list, because that's something that I never finished.
You're talking about 2000. You're talking about 1999, 2000.
So I played it in like 01, 02.
Okay, fine. That's still 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. And here's the thing, because it's just so hard to like find it. It was so hard to find the game again. Right?
You can probably get it now.
Yeah. And from a trustworthy place, right?
Yeah.
Back in like the early 2000s, sure. Mid 2000s, finding it, like I finally found a disc. I found an old disc, but then it was like, I don't have a computer that can play this.
Yeah, there's no disc. You could probably play that game online on your browser right now.
Probably so. And if I could find it, I 1025% would. My kids wouldn't know me anymore. I don't have time for them. The game is that immense. It draws you into stories. Like it's one of those games where everybody's got different stories about it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no quick way to beat that game. You're gonna get sucked into the lore. You're gonna get sucked into all this shit. Like I said, I ended up taking out all 4 families in Reno, like all 4 of the mob families, because I was working for one, and they sent me to fuck with another one, and then shit went sideways, and I ended up having to like fight my way in and out of 4 casinos. And all of this just to find this guy that made this drug, because I needed him for my squad, so that I can eventually try to get this water chip that I left my home a year ago for. It's great.
You need all that for a chip. That's a lot.
Sulik is the greatest non-playable character of all time. That dude, talk about a ride or die. Sulik is the ultimate ride or die. I've never had an NPC companion that could hold that dude's jockstrap. Sulik was the greatest non-playable character ever.
So,
ever.
Quick news. You know there's a TV series coming out on Prime. Mm-hmm. I thought I saw that somewhere, so I pulled it up.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that?
I don't know, man. The thing about that and like the games that I like that they try to turn into, they try to take that intellectual property and use it in something else. It's like the thing that made Fallout so great is that it was your decisions, right? It was your decisions that that molded the story. And to watch to watch the show is like, yeah, that's the world, and that's all the stuff that I'm familiar with from that world. That's the same lore, but this is somebody else's story, not yours, and that's what made it so
there's
cool.
no joystick in TV.
Right, so it's like, and that's why it's like, it could be cool, but
without going into the details, I mean, Last of Us just came out, and it seems to be like killing it.
It is, and I'm sure that the Mass Effect and the Fallout TV shows or movies, whatever they do with those, will be amazing because the stories themselves are great.
Yeah.
But especially in a series like Fallout, where like I did beat Fallout 2 with my roommate's character because he couldn't win the fight, and his guy was smart enough to open the door, but he just couldn't beat the guy. So I beat the guy for him with his character, and I saw his ending of the game, and I was like,
oh, wait, the ending's different
depending on what you do. On your choice. There's so many different things that you can do or whatever, and like, so depending on what you did on the game is what your ending was. So I never saw my ending. I saw the end of the game. It was his ending, and I was like, dude, you're fucking lame. You did this shit? Fucking whack. And I was like, man, I didn't get to see my ending. So I'm gonna have to find a way to play that game again. But right. Fallout 2
that's your first one.
That's the first one I'm listing. I don't know if that's number one. I'll tell you my order later on. What's your first game you got?
Mine is way simpler than that because I'm a big, like, I play new games, but I always go back and play old school ones. And I have to put Mega Man X on my list. So you're familiar with Mega Man, right? The Blue Bomber? Rockman in Japan. So the first Mega Man came out on the NES, the original Nintendo, and it was hard as fuck. So the premise was pretty simple. You're playing this robot, whatever, and there's these other robots like, fireman, cutman, woodman, whatever man, and then once you get them, then you take over. You add their powers to your arsenal, and you can use them against the other ones. So, what was revolutionary about Mega Man is that you had, as a concept, was that it wasn't linear. You can pick and choose which stage you wanted to start at. Okay. You want to start with Cutman, you want to start with Woodman, or whatever. So there were like, I think 3 Mega Mans or 4 maybe on Nintendo, and then Mega Man X came out on Super Nintendo, and that was the upgrade, because one, it wasn't like fill in the blank man no more. These had like names. It was like Armored Armadillo, and it was Flame Mammoth and Storm Eagle, and they looked dope as hell. And the thing about Mega Man X is that I really like. So it's same premise, there's Mega Man and there's I think they called not the Mavericks. I forgot the name of their kind. But anyway, is that one, the gameplay was so dope in a sense that every stage is pretty linear, but there were collectibles you had to find, like these tanks that increase your health, and when you beat a certain boss, after you beat him, let's say you do there's one level. Flame Mammoth is like a lava, like fire kind of level, right? So typical any platform game has an ice level and a fire level or whatever, right? So when if you do the fire level, it's all fire, lava, and everything. But if you do the ice one first, and then you go back to the flame to the lava level, it's all frozen, and you have access to other things. So that alone, I was like, oh, this is dope, because the old Mega Man was like, yeah, just make your way through and you're done. But now one level impacts another.
Consequences to actions.
Yes, exactly. And again, you can pick and choose which one you want to start with. The other thing I love about Mega Man to this day, and I play it, is, one of the best soundtracks in video game history.
You're really into video game music.
Yo, I have a whole playlist for my son and he's never seen some of those games he's never seen, right? Like Donkey Kong Country, Sonic. He's seen Mega Man. I showed him like a YouTube video, but like it's
Wait, you
so.
never played it with him?
No, I mean I played once and he saw me play, but I didn't want him to like get too because it's for at that age it was too much because there's a lot going on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But he knows like this level. He knows like I would play a song. Say, oh, that's Storm Eagle. It's like, oh, what about this one? Oh, that's the Armadillo one. So he's familiar, but like to me, if the gameplay's dope and the music gets me going, I'm gonna fall in love with this game. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That those are the two things I need for me to love a game. If I get those two, I don't care what the game is about. And so Mega Man X really did it for me because one, these are songs that are in my head constantly when I play for my son all the time.
Is that like the one of the most? Is that one of the biggest reasons why that game is so replayable for you? Is the music?
Yeah, and also here I'll play some. I can play some. Here, hold on. Is that gonna work? Oops. Shit. Ah. Anyway, it really gets to me, and I it never gets old. It never gets old. The gameplay is dope. The music is dope. I remember when I was a kid, when the we had those video game magazines.
Mm-hmm. Game Informer.
We didn't have those, but we had the French version of those.
Right.
Right.
Le Game Informer.
Well, the Game Informer.
Ho, ho, ho.
And I remember just cutting, like making a collage of like it was, hey, Mega Man X is coming out,
Right.
and I would like cut the thing off and put it, make a poster out of it, and I would, but I didn't play the game when it first came out. Like it took me maybe a couple years to get it. I never even owned it. I always borrowed it, but I would keep it and play the shit out of it for months.
Yeah.
And I was so obsessed with it that I was like, there's even there was a secret. So Mega Man is Capcom, who also does Street Fighter.
Yep.
Right, and there was this thing I found out about, and I was, how old was I? I was maybe like 12 or something, 11, 12. There was a thing where if you did this level over and over, and at the end, you're on this cart and it goes really fast, and you shoot everything, and then at the end you jump on top of a cliff and then you jump and die. But you have to have all the bosses must be dead. You gotta have all the sub tanks, all the power ups and everything, and you keep dying that same way 7 times, and at the end, and you do it one more time, and there's a capsule that shows up, and you get to do Hadouken.
All of that to do one Hadouken?
But the Hadouken kills everybody instantly. If you had full health, the Hadouken kills everybody instantly. So it's one of those like Easter egg kind of things.
Yeah.
But like there are people who do the speedrunners.
Yes.
There are people who do speedrunners on Mega Man X. It had such an attitude compared to the other ones, because the other ones it was like, oh, Mega Man's blue, he just shoots, but this one is like, oh, it's Mega Man, and then he upgrades, he gets like speed boots, like boost boots or whatever, and then he gets an armor, and then he gets an upgrade to his weapon, and then he gets a helmet. So everything you upgrade gives you access to different things in each level.
So it kind of sounds like a predecessor to a lot of like the customization and accessorization that games got later on down the line. Like,
right.
See, because I didn't play Mega Man like at all, really, but I always dug the artwork, but never was really into Mega Man. So I didn't know that even way back then that they had that level of customization or even like upgrading.
Well, it's more you unlock this, and that gives you access, because you literally played each stage maybe 2 or 3 times to get everything.
Okay.
So just the replayability within the game, because if it's a linear game, you don't really go back. You keep going forward, then you beat the game and you're done.
Right.
But here it's like, okay, I'm gonna do one playthrough. Oh, I forgot the one tank, and on this, where is it on this level? So you have to explore a little bit, even though you have to keep going right. You have to go up and down. Sometimes there's some you slide down one of the cliffs, and then there's a hidden chamber, and then there's a life there, whatever. So there was some level of exploration. Music was dope. There was consequences to like how you beat the game. The upgrades were great, and again, like the music. Let's see, there you go. Bow, bow. So shit like like
It's
that
no
gets
Toe
me
Jam
pumped.
and Earl.
Huh?
It's no Toe Jam and
No,
Earl.
Toe Jam is and Earl is way more laid back. Toe Jam is like it's really slow. Yeah, yeah. But this is like, hey, I'm gonna need you to get hyped because this is serious shit.
Yeah.
So like there's no way you're just sitting there with your controller like you're like, oh yeah, I'm into this. Like you were in it. That's what Mega Man X did to me.
Okay.
And I still play it to this day. And I can't wait to play it with my son.
All right. Word. I can't say shit to that.
I mean,
because like I said, I never really got into it, but I understand.
I'll show it to you after. Oh, you have to go get the game, but yeah.
No, I understand. Like a lot of people love Mega Man, and it just wasn't my jam because just never really had that introduction to it. But bet. All right, so you got Mega Man. My second one, Mass Effect 3. If we're gonna be specific, but I only was.
Isn't the same? It's similar to Fallout. It's first person shoot shit, post apocalyptic.
No.
No?
No, because again, Fallout 2 was not a first-person shooter. It was a RPG, turn-based RPG.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, where you had to,
I don't know why
you had to move
it's
each of your squad mates. You know, like when you got into action, you had action points that you had to get them to do. Anyways, Mass Effect though was a third-person shooter, or is a third-person shooter. I'm not talking Andromeda, the new one that came out a couple years ago. I go with Mass Effect 3 because whenever I get to Mass Effect 3, I always feel like you can breathe. Like, yeah, this is how the game is supposed to be. Mass Effect 1 and 2, great. But fuck, like even by the time Mass Effect 2 came out, Mass Effect 1 felt old in the mechanics of the game. And then when Mass Effect 3 came out, Mass Effect 2's mechanics felt old. And Mass Effect 3 like still holds up now. The reason it's like so replayable though is because like from the first game, you had the story was so good that you wanted to play it again. But also it was like your character the same, like you took your character from game to game. So the guy that you make in the Commander Shepard you have in Mass Effect 1, based on the decisions you made in Mass Effect 1, that affects the story of Mass Effect 2.
Wait, how so if they're two different games?
Because it's the sequel, so then they just upload the data from your first game.
What year are we talking?
This is what first one came out in 2007, I think, or 2008. Then
so you need the first one to play the second one?
No, because you saved the data, right? And like you didn't have.
Oh, it would carry over if you have it.
The data carries over, so like you didn't have memory cards anymore. It was saved straight to the system.
Right.
So it would read that save data, and then there were like intentional gaps left in the story that are filled in by the decisions you made on the first one. Now, if you didn't play the first game, then they would just ask you some questions, and then that would set up the world. But it took so whatever happened to you in the first one, whatever type of character or class you were, that came into the second one, and then the decisions from the first and second game carried over to the third game. So now with this one character you've got 2 games worth of backstory that are played out in the third game.
Hence Mass Effect.
And and each game, like say you played through the first one time, like the highest level you could get was like a level 30.
Okay.
So then you play through again, and they don't start you off at level 1. The second playthrough, they start you at level 30.
But isn't that cheating the game?
No, that's how the game is set up. So that when you play, and the reason why is when you play through the second time, there'll be options available to you in conversation that weren't available to you the first time you played through because you weren't at a high enough level. So it's intended for you to play through again.
Oh, so they really want you to play the first one?
Well, because then
That's
you
a good
can,
marketing technique.
so then you like, well, a lot of people just play through one time and that's it, right?
Right.
But for people that are like into it, it's like, oh shit, when you play through the second time, I have a high enough level that I can actually stop this person from doing this thing, and which is important because when you get to because you get attached to the characters in the game because the story's really good, and you're gonna lose characters in the game, and you can possibly save some of your team's life by being able to stop them from doing something or getting them to do something.
Right.
And it just depends on what level you're at. So that's why the first one was so replayable, because it was like, I want to be at a level 60. I've got, able to beat the game, keep my team, as much of them as possible to keep. But then when you go into Mass Effect 2, you started with a bonus based off of what level you were in the first game. So you got more points, started off at a higher level in Mass Effect 2 coming out. Instead of starting at level 1, you start at level 20 type deal.
Right. So hold on, I haven't heard any video game do it like that. I mean, it's like oh, you have our first one, you download the second one on your Xbox, your PlayStation, but because you have the first one, hey, you've unlocked whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that, but get it to where, let's say you built your character with all the, I don't know if it's armor or whatever, weapons, blah blah blah,
right,
from the first one, then you install the second one, and it goes, yeah, you have a big advantage right now because you already have a bunch of stuff.
No,
as
no,
opposed to somebody.
You don't bring your weapons and armor and stuff because this is a different game. But what it does is it takes like that stuff you did in the previous game, and instead of starting the game at level 1, you'll start at like level 15.
But what do the levels do? That's what.
So each level you're able to you have different powers, right? So
okay, levels as in you're leveling up as a player, or level as in you're progressing. Like this is a level 1 stage, level 1.
So at level 1, you're able to do like these 5 basic powers at like the minimum, because you've only been able to allocate X amount of points.
Okay.
So if so basically the game is you are a commander of a spaceship.
Okay.
And at this point in humanity, we've now met other races, other species and stuff in space.
You like future games, huh? Futuristic games.
I like
sci-fi shit.
I like good stories, right? And a lot of sci-fi stuff has good stories, right? I was a Star Wars kid.
Makes sense.
So one of the things is like you people have advanced enough. People have like biotic powers, so they can do like pushes or pulls or lift things with their biotic powers. Or there's like tech powers where you can make a guy that's really into tech, and you can like have those drones that you have go out and help you fight, or you're able to overload and do stuff like that. And then you can just be a straight up soldier that's just like, no, I'm good at all the guns or grenades, I'll go blow your head off, right? So wherever you're at on those, like the higher your level, the more points you have to give to those skills, for shooting assault rifles or this type of gun, or for doing this type of power, that type of power. So when they take your score, your skill, whatever you were at from Mass Effect 1 and upload it to Mass Effect 2, instead of starting off as a level 1 adept, you can start off as a level 15 adept, which means you start the game with stronger powers.
Right, so it makes the game easier.
No, because
does the game actually adapt to the levels you're at?
It adapts, right?
Okay, well that makes sense.
And you still are gonna have to play through Mass Effect 2 a second time for that same reason of like trying to get as strong as you can get, right? So you play a minimum of 2 playthroughs on Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2.
Man, that is a trick.
Just to have
into playing the game.
But if the game sucked, you wouldn't do it, right?
Sure.
If the game was trash, you're not going to spend 80 hours twice playing a game if it sucked. Both like it's even better the second time around because you're strong enough to do things that you weren't able to do before. The whole story of Mass Effect 2 is like humans are being abducted by this group called the Collectors, and you have to take a suicide squad or suicide mission to stop them. And when you go on that mission, if you don't have the loyalty of everybody on your team, then you lose people on your mission, right?
Oh,
right. Okay. But if you have the loyalty of everybody on your team, then there's a higher chance that your whole team survives. So I've done it, like the very first time I played through, I lost one person. I was like, well, fuck. Like, can you do this without losing anybody? All right, let's play it again and see if I can do it without losing anybody.
Oh, okay.
And then the next time I played through, I lost like 3 people. I go, how the fuck? So like this last play, like I'm actually literally playing Mass Effect 3 right now. That's the game I'm currently playing is Mass Effect 3. And so I just finished Mass Effect 2 like 2 weeks ago. And
how many times have you played it?
The entire series?
Yeah. If you were to count every single time you actually did a playthrough.
I probably played through Mass Effect 1 like 25, 30 times.
What?
Probably played through Mass Effect 2 like...
You were not married back then, right?
Right. Like 20 times. And then I've played through Mass Effect 3 like 10 times or so, maybe 8 times.
That's a lot. Mass Effect 3, let's see, came out in 2012.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So, like, I probably played through that one like 8 times. But the reason for the number being so high is because, you know, I played through Mass Effect 1, probably like 3 characters. So that's 6 playthroughs, right? Off the rip right there. And then I took each of those characters and uploaded them to Mass Effect 2. So that, you know, and so it's like I tried it as an adept, I tried it as a vanguard, I tried it as this, you know, as a sentinel, tried it all these different ways, and then when you get to Mass Effect 2, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go back and play through Mass Effect 1, leading into Mass Effect 2 coming out, and then so that happens. Then you get to Mass Effect 3, and it's like, okay, I've got my 3 characters that I took through Mass Effect 1, that I also took through Mass Effect 2. And now I'm gonna do Mass Effect 3 with each of these 3 characters.
What platform did you play it on?
Xbox.
This is all Xbox?
All Xbox.
BioWare is only Xbox, right?
Now it is.
Okay.
No, it's EA. So it's everywhere.
Oh, it's EA now. That's right.
At the time though, it was only Xbox, and then when it got acquired by EA, now it's everywhere.
Got it.
So and then once you get to Mass Effect 3, then it's like, all right, I got to play through the whole series again. So, like, that's what I'll do now. Is like every few years, I'll just play through the whole series again. And start back at Mass Effect 1 and be like, oh, this shit. Oh, man, I forgot. It's so old the way that everything
But
operates.
It change? But does it change because of the characters you have now?
No, because it's starting from scratch back at Mass Effect 1. So you go back to Mass Effect 1, start from scratch.
Right.
And make a character play through.
Right. 1, 2, and 3?
Mm-hmm. So the guy that, like, I'm 2 weeks into Mass Effect 2 right now. And the character I'm using is the same one that I used last month when I played through Mass Effect 2. And then back in like September when I started, July, because Mass Effect 1 takes so long to play through because it's like so clunky.
How long are we talking? 20 hours? 40 hours?
Oh, they're each easily 40 hours.
That's not so bad.
Yeah, at least. That's just me because I know the game.
And there's no side quest, nothing like that?
Yeah, there's all that shit.
Oh, you don't do that?
Yeah, I do all that. But I you know, it's
like,
like,
percentage of completion?
It's like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this, and then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but if because you're leveling up your characters throughout the series, does the story is the same, the challenge is the same, the action is the same. You know the boss. I know that there's bosses. The bosses are the same. They're just easier now that you leveled.
That's the thing. It's not easy.
So it keeps adapting every time.
It's hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's always hard. It's always going to be a challenge to beat Mass Effect. There's no guarantee on Mass Effect 2 that you're going to come out of that suicide mission with everybody. Doesn't matter. It's always hard. It's a good fucking game.
So the goal is to not lose people.
In that one, it was. So, and then Mass Effect 3 is like the culmination of this whole big story of like this race that's coming... of like machine aliens coming to wipe out all organic life in the universe. It happens on a cycle, and it's time for this cycle of beings to be wiped out so that the next group can then come behind them. And so that invasion happens, and Mass Effect 3 is you fighting to save all, not humanity, but like everybody. You know, like, no, we're not gonna be extinct again. You're not gonna fucking come through and wipe out all civilization as we know it in the universe. I'm that nigga. I'm gonna stand up to y'all and I'm gonna stop this shit from happening. That's what that's the culmination of that story. So all the decisions that you made in the first 2 games determine who's gonna be available in the 3rd game. It can be a character that was on your crew in the first game that now is like a politician that you can lean on. Or it'll be that same character, if he died in the first game, is played by somebody that you don't have that relationship with and they're not going to help you.
That's an interesting concept. I gotta respect that because...
It's sick,
dog. I've never seen anything like... I never heard it. I'm not a big... So how would you classify this game?
It's a third-person shooter, futuristic game.
Okay.
I mean, it's a space game. but it's a story-driven game more than anything, and it's got a lot of you can go here, go there, wherever you want in whatever order you want to do it. But there's consequences to your actions, and that plays out in the ending of all the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like who on your crew fucks with you and who doesn't. Who wants to help you in your war efforts against the Reaper invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to help you, who's not going to help you based off of your fucking decisions that
it's all
you
this
make.
politics and shit in games.
It gets into that, but I mean the story itself is great. And if they wanted to make like a Mass Effect, I think they're making a Mass Effect show.
Yeah.
That, just like Fallout, is like, I bet it's going to be good because the story's so great.
Right.
But like watching it, it's like it'd be interesting to see how I feel watching the story, knowing like, man, I remember that part of the game, and he just fucked up. Why would you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why adaptation. I'm always kind of.
It's kind of.
I get it.
There's something with the adaptation there,
but they're gonna do. Well, they can either. It's a series.
I believe so.
Yeah, so it's like, you have to watch 1, 2.
Yeah, because like with
like the game.
With Last of Us, like I didn't play Last of Us because it's on PlayStation.
Right.
But from what I understand, it's like a story. You're following these two characters, and there's not like a lot of free will in the game.
No, it's pretty linear.
Right, it's pretty linear. Whereas these games, a lot of it is your decision, and that's why it's like I don't know how that's going to come off, because Last of Us, that's a linear story that you can just adapt to television. But when you have a show or a game, that's kind of like create your own adventure, right?
Right.
How I decide to respond to this person could affect this thing, or my inactivity to help this person out, causing them to be dead, means that 2 games from now, when I have to go to those people for help, that there could be somebody in that position that's like, nah, you let our dude die. Or, I mean, in the first one, you have the option of saving the Galactic Council or letting them die.
We sound like geeks, right?
Whatever. We're talking about video games, right? But, that's a choice that you have to make in the first game. Do you save the council or do you let them die? And whatever decision you make impacts what's going to happen in the next 2 games, because they're going to be like, oh, you're the dude that saved the council, or, yeah, fucking humans, looking out for yourselves. You let the council die. You know what I'm saying?
What if Netflix does it to where it's like a choose your own thing, kind of like how they did with that one?
Then I'd rather just play the game.
Well, yeah, you always rather play the game.
I'm not going to fucking sit there and pick yes or no on the fucking Netflix, bitch. Tell me where I'm going. I turned you on for you to show me.
Hey, I'm saying that now when it comes to shows now, they can come up with some crazy shit. So you never know. But now, I don't know why, but I always had this games like Fallout, Mass Effect, what's another one?
Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim. I always for some reason thought they were first person shooters, which I hate.
Yeah, no.
I hate first person shooters. They make me dizzy, and I hate not having like at least a 180 view of where I'm going.
Fallout, like when it came to console, went to a first person view, but you could always switch the view to third person if you wanted to. Okay, so you could play it in third or first. But Fallout 3, like as far as like the going from the PC to the console, fucking Fallout 3 was amazing. Like, and they did so much fan service, like, because it's like, I remember that motherfucker. Like, they talk about shit that's like, I remember I did that in the other game. And there's a lot of that type of shit. But, like, yeah, Fallout on the console is definitely more in the first person. And I'm not a big first person shooter game either. But they have the VAT system on there, which is amazing. Which came from the PC game, where you could hit this thing, and it, like, the thing on your wrist, on your character's wrist, it would like help you aim, so you could shoot specific body parts, right? So you select which body part you want to shoot, and it give you the percentage of you hitting that body part. And so like on the PC, it was dope because it was like, all right, I'm gonna cripple these motherfuckers, shoot their legs out, then I can move around or whatnot. But it was like, the camera was above, looking down in the room.
Okay.
But when it got to the console, it's first person shooter. But then when somebody popped out, you could just tap that button. It brings up the VATS thing, and you select what body part. So it felt less hectic, as long as you had the action points to use your VATS. I didn't run around and shoot a lot of shit really well, but I pull that VATS up real quick, be like, I got an 84% chance of shooting this motherfucker in his left foot. I bet I'll do that. And then hit that thing and then shoot a motherfucker in his foot. And you can select, like, you got 12 action points. Well, it takes 2 action points to shoot this gun, 4 action points to shoot this gun.
Right.
In that thing. So it's like, all right, cool. I can shoot him twice in his leg, run around for a little while, let it build back up, hit it again, shoot them in his up. You know, like it was dope. That was the dope thing about Fallout was they had VAT system.
Okay, so Fallout, Mass Effect.
What you got? What's your second one?
So, I think there's a pattern here.
You got another platformer?
No, this is a beat 'em up game,
Ooh.
which is a lost art.
What you got?
Streets of Rage 2.
Okay.
Streets of Rage 2 on Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
right? I own a Super Nintendo. I was a Nintendo and then PlayStation. I had Dreamcast. I had a Saturn too at one point. But I always went to my friend's house to play Genesis. That's how I played Toe Jam and Earl and the Mickey Mouse
Same.
game and
I had the Nintendo
and
games.
Quackshot and all those games, right?
My friends had Genesis. I had Nintendo, so I'd go over there
Right,
play
exactly.
Genesis.
They come over to my house. Yeah, we all did that. So the art of the beat 'em up was like, hey, you walk around and beat up people.
Mm-hmm.
You all remember Double Dragon.
Double Dragon was a shit.
Double Dragon 2. Let me say, Double Dragon 2 on Nintendo. We played that game so much, and I don't think it took us over a year to beat it. Me and my brother, because it was so freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
But again, soundtrack to Double Dragon 2 was dope. Level 2 of Double Dragon 2.
The first song you played from Mega Man, I was like, this sounds like Streets of Rage to me.
No, Streets of Rage. So let me tell you about Streets of Rage. So Streets of Rage came out on the first one came out on Genesis. It was pretty cool because I mean you had at the time you had Final Fight, you had the Ninja Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these beat 'em up was a genre of game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Golden Axe, Altered Beast. Like there was a bunch of those. Streets of Rage came out at a point where, hey, we just wanted a gritty beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
With a dope soundtrack. We're gonna have this dude, Axel, we're gonna have this girl, Blaze, and this other dude, Adam, black dude, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first one. So you walk around, there's a bunch of, criminals or whatever, and just beat them up.
You didn't question anybody.
No,
You
nobody. Just walk
in
up and beat them
grabbed
up.
turkeys off the ground.
No shit.
And
Yes.
picked up knives and
Yes.
threw them at people.
Now here's the upgrade from Streets of Rage 1 to Streets of Rage 2.
Jumping.
No, you could jump in the first one.
I was being facetious.
Yeah. No, the moveset got better.
Did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Streets of Rage 2 had...
You could get grabbed in the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could grab in the first one. But the second one, you had 2 super moves per character.
Yes.
And one of them, one of them took some health away. The other one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But there were more. The enemies were way more varied. And I'll say it. The fucking music. The composer of the whole Streets of Rage series, his name is Yuzo Koshiro. That dude does shows. I saw a video of him on YouTube where he's doing a concert and he's playing Streets of Rage soundtrack 1, 2, and 3, and the crowd goes nuts. Nuts.
That's not in America.
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course.
Right,
Come
yeah.
on. Yeah. Really?
We don't have
Of
time.
course not. No.
When's the beat gonna drop?
Shut up. Fuck out of here. No, but so.
Can you play Mario?
Can you play Pac-Man? I know that one. Shh, the fuck out of here. So, I play Streets of Rage 2. Like, if I want to play a game, like, I play 2 types of game. I play, like, the complex games, like a God of War or Assassin's Creed, where it's, like, open world. I always have one of those going on, and then simple game. I have Streets of Rage 4, so they remade Streets of Rage, and it looks like cartoony and everything. I play that shit all the time, because it's simple. Just walk around, beat them up. I don't have to think much. It's linear. And I just try to go, okay, how far can I go? How far can I get by myself?
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that you're playing a game, it's not online. I mean, at the time, you're playing with your friend. You're not going against each other.
Love that.
Yes, that you're on the couch and you're like, all right, you got that guy. You take the right side of the screen. I take the left side of the screen, right? And then, okay, you grab, your health is low. Okay, you grab the chicken. I'll take the apple later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to strategize.
Let me get that knife. Let me get that knife.
Yes. And there were some times where...
Can you hurt each other in 4?
There's the mode you can.
Okay. Because that was I played with my son, Streets Rage 2.
Uh-huh.
Because we have the Genesis.
Yeah.
And, that's one of his favorite games on there. Sonic 2, then Streets of Rage is the shit. But whenever we play Streets of Rage 2 together, I'm like, motherfucker, if you hit me again. No, now you gotta fight him by yourself. No, Mr. Badass, you want to do the spinning kick with your stupid skates, huh?
Yep. That's right.
With Blaze ass, now you can go fight him by yourself.
I like the boss fights. I thought were dope in Streets of Rage. When you play the bartender, the dude with the claws, like you go into this amusement park, and it's all fuzzy and shit, and then you I forgot what his name was. There was the boxer guy. There was the wrestler dude, and there was that
In 2?
Yeah.
I never made that far.
Okay, did you make it to the elevator part?
Elevator?
Where you go to the like a baseball field, and you end up in this elevator, and you have to kick
baseball field.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't never made it to no. Like, listen,
you play with your son. That's why.
I know. I don't. Yeah.
If we play together, we'll beat the game.
Possibly. I mean, like me and him played the Ninja Turtle game.
The Turtles in Time.
The newest one.
Oh, the Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, the new one that came out last year.
Yeah.
And he can hold his own on there, but he can't fuck me up, right? So that's the good thing is that he don't fuck me up. And I say he holds his own. It's just like I say that meaning he makes it to the end of the level. Mm-hmm. But then when they tally up the kills and shit, I'm sitting here with like 157 and he's got like 45. And then Kennedy's sitting there with 0 and the fucking pacifier. Yeah, because the whole time is, Ken, walk this way. Walk this way.
No, I remember playing with my brother. And it didn't get the whole, like, you have to line up with the enemy to punch him. Yeah. So the enemy would be up, he'd be down, he'd be punching the air. Like, I can't hit him. I'm like, just move up. And guess what? If you move up or down into him, you're going to grab him. And once you grab him, you can headbutt him, you can punch him, you can do, like, a super or whatever it is. But I used to laugh my ass off because he'd be punching the air. Or he'll be standing, like, on the edge of the screen, and there's an enemy, like, off screen. Yeah. That just kicks you. And you fall for no reason. Yeah.
What happened?
And there's that one level when you're on the bridge and there's these dudes on motorcycles.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that because I think it's I'm glad they remade it because Streets of Rage 4 is pretty dope. But I would love for a remake, not I won't say a remake, but like an upgrade to like a Double Dragon.
Double Dragon.
Or like those bad dudes back in the day. Remember the Punisher arcade? No. There was a lot of those dinosaurs and Cadillacs. Those are arcades, beat 'em up. Like Final Fight, like those.
I don't think they called that here in America.
No, it was.
It was called Dinosaurs and Cadillacs.
Yes, it was a cartoon.
That sounds like a blaxploitation movie if I've ever heard one. Dinosaurs.
Cadillacs and dinosaurs. There was a game. Yeah, Cadillacs and dinosaurs. Yeah, it was a TV series. It was a cartoon.
That was Denver the Last Dinosaur.
No, I know Denver. I don't fuck with me. I know Denver. The last dinosaur.
He's my friend and a whole lot more.
I'll do it in French, but I'm not going to.
Please don't.
Yeah.
You Denver. No, see, that sounds... I almost threw my water at you. I almost threw my water in your face.
But anyway, so I believe that there's these old genres of video games like point and click is another one that's making a comeback.
Point and click?
Point and click.
Got you.
Like LucasArts from back in the day, like Day of the Tentacle or Monkey Island, like those are coming back. But the beat 'em up kind, I think that we've lost the sense of, hey, let's just sit on the couch together and play a game. Everything is virtual, everything is online. And that's what I appreciate about Streets of Rage 2, and it is the reference, it is the bar when it comes to beat 'em up games at that time. So that's my second one.
All right. Well, in the spirit of that, my third one,
Mass Effect 4, Armageddon, some shit like that.
Mass Effect Fallout 2.
Armageddon, some shit.
My number 2, or no, my last one is gonna be Fight Night Champion. Fight Night in the
what is that?
In the spirit of that, Fight Night Champion. Like, so Fight Night was a boxing series. They had like from EA in the early 2000s, and it was like every other year or so. There was like Fight Night, then Fight Night 2, then Fight Night Round 3, then Fight Night Round 4, and then the last one they came out with was called Fight Night Champion. Now most people will say Fight Night 3 or Fight Night 4 might have been the best one. Everybody was really excited about Fight Night 4 because that's when we finally got Mike Tyson. You know,
Oh,
then
okay.
you can finally do Tyson versus Ali, and you.
Ali was
Tyson,
in the game.
Yeah, all of them. Ali was in all of them.
Wow.
So
Frazier, everybody was in there.
Yeah.
Foreman.
Yes, and so Holyfield, everybody. So Fight Night Champion for me was the best of them all because it had the best parts of the actual fighting mechanic, and it also had like great replayability for you to play by yourself. I still play that game today. Like if I get bored or whatever, I want to just fucking let loose. I'll put on Fight Night still, and you can build a boxer and take him through his whole career and fight it all out. And there's a story mode, and you can play the story mode. But the best part of it was on after work, in my 20s, going over to your homeboy's house to sell weed. And there'll be 3 or 4 people over there and Fight Night's on, and we sit there and we would play Fight Night all damn night long. We played Fight Night damn near till the sun came up. And it was one of those joints where it's like, you know, me versus you, loser pass the sticks. And then you got to sit there after you lost.
Oh, we did that with fighting games. Street Fighter and all that stuff.
That's how this was, where, you know, you sit there and you got to wait for 2 other people to get their turn. And then it's like, I hope this motherfucker don't lose. I'm going to beat his ass when I get back on these sticks. I hope this motherfucker don't lose because I'm going to get your ass,
Man,
Lewis.
see, that alone is something that I don't know if this generation gets.
And like me and my cousin were talking about this the other day because he was trying to tell me that I'm not a gamer or whatever. And because I'm not online playing, he's like, motherfucker, you don't understand. I came up with, you know, 4 or 5 deep in a living room or in a dorm room, passing the sticks on Tekken Tag.
Yeah. Oh.
And Fight Night was like, for me, like that's the pinnacle of that shit. That's just you and the boys drinking, smoking, chilling, doing whatever the fuck, and fucking everybody's into it. Everybody that's in the room is into the game. Everybody's into the fight, the match, whatever. And with Fight Night, you know, if it went longer, just everybody's talking shit. Oh shit, you sitting there with that pressure on you, like, man, this motherfucker better not get knocked out right now and shit. And it was great knowing the combos and how to throw the hands, how to block. You know, like I was really good at, like, you know, the head movement and hitting the jab. And it used to be, you coming that stank ass jab again?
Let me figure out the moves real quick.
Yeah, you go stank ass, and then you start criticizing how they play. Like if you're a person that uses the buttons or if you use the stick, you know, because you can throw the punches with a stick or you can throw button pushing motherfucker.
You don't know what you're doing.
Oh, anybody can push the button to do it. Use the stick like a real man. Use the stick.
I tell you this. So we had a rule when it comes to like fighting games. Any fighting game, Street Fighter, Fatal Fury, King of Fighter, whatever. Killer Instinct, where it's like my brothers and I and me, we're like, okay, turn the game on. We don't look at the booklet because back then you had the booklet with the moveset, right? You can't hit start and look at them either, right? Everybody knows there was like a quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, half circle, whatever, right?
Back forward, front, back.
Yeah, like easy shit. And my youngest brother, he does like all the esports stuff. Like he travels and like he plays like Street Fighter 5 or whatever, right? But when he was a kid, and you can ask him, he's right outside. He would suck, but he'd do like this, like, how'd you do that move?
Yeah.
And then you show him, he goes, oh, like this, like this. Like this, and then he just like picks it up and then whoops it. He whoops my ass, our asses, with the move we just showed him. And then from that on, it was over. Like you get like you're on the like stuck on the side of the screen. You won't even hit the floor no more. Like you're in the air, just doing a combo on your ass. Yeah, that's what he would do. And I would beat him. He would beat my brother. My brother would beat me. But it's like I have my character. You can't pick my character.
Right.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, of course. Because like when we would play Fight Night, like, depending on who you were fighting too, you might have a different character, right? Like whenever me and my boy Josh would fight, like I'm talking about like from Fight Night, probably from 3 on. I knew he couldn't knock out Holyfield. So I would always bring out Holyfield because I liked Holyfield's hooks, I liked his uppercuts, and he would bring out Ali or whatever, and it was like, oh, you gonna bring out bitch ass Holyfield again? You gonna bring out bitch ass Holyfield?
That's so good.
All right, bring Holyfield's bitch ass out here. I bet I'll bite his ear like Mike did. Let's go, motherfucker. That was like part of the thing was like, Not only is it like I'm taking on back, but I got to take on this bitch ass motherfucker back. I always try to bring out the whoop. Yeah, I'll whoop Jermaine Taylor's ass again. Bring his ass out here. It don't matter. You know, it
was there combos or anything?
Yeah. So it was
supers.
No supers. It was straight boxing.
Oh, okay.
It was straight boxing. Like there was a button you can hold for like power punches,
right.
But that would take more of your stamina away and leave you more open for a counter.
Right.
So, but this is all just straight hands. So it was like working jabs, straights, combos, working body.
Did
hooks.
You practice? Is there a practice mode? You practice by yourself?
Yeah, you play by yourself or whatnot. But I mean, the thing is like the game is very intuitive, especially when you got the champion. Like anybody can learn to play this game within 3 times, within 3 turns, you'll know how to play. You can play good enough that you can put up a little bit of a fight. Especially like if it's your first time, you try to treat everybody the same. First time, I ain't just gonna come out here and beat your ass 'cause I know you don't know the button. So I'm gonna sit here and tell you how to do it. Let you throw some combos at me and shit. Then say, okay, if you feel comfortable, cool. Night. And then pass the sticks. And then the next time you try, it's like, all right, I'm gonna let you get a little bit more offense in, and then within 15 to 20 minutes, you'll feel comfortable enough that you feel like you can talk some shit. All right, motherfucker, let me in, and then you get knocked the fuck out.
Did you ever get hold on, let me learn the moves real quick. And they don't tell you when it's back on. They just keep punching you because you're like, all right, just go ahead, try to move.
Well, yes, or like, hey, I don't think my control's working, huh? Hey, motherfucker, why you hit me? Why you hit me upside my head, motherfucker?
I thought you were trying to move.
Or it's like it's not working and you walk over and then they start punching you. It's like, psych. But no.
Like, was there like a like if you pick Ali, like the stats were out of this world, so you would win all the time? It's like a cheat. You have to know how to do it.
You still got to know how to fight. You still got to know how to play.
Oh, that's good.
And everybody had every fighter has their thing that they're good at because you have stats for your right hook, your left hook, your uppercuts, body punches, your blocking stats, your head movement, feet, all those different stats played a part. So if I had somebody that was you could have Ali, but I might have somebody that's got a 95 and left uppercut, and I just wait for you to throw a power punch and hold that arm out a little too long, and one left uppercut can end the fight. You're on your ass. Sorry, Ali. So there was always that, and we would have great matches because they had all the weight classes. So so you could have, fucking go down to the middleweights and have De La Hoya versus Trinidad and shit, and have those battles, or have B Hop versus what's my man, Roy Jones Jr. You can
Damn.
They have the roster. The roster was extensive, right?
How many players you thinking?
Oh, at least 80 to 100.
80?
Yeah, because I'm talking about they'd have
even Tekken don't have 80.
Well, we're talking boxers, and by the time you got the fight
international.
Yes,
wow.
Julio Cesar Chavez in there, fucking Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, the Hurricane, Dempsey, freaking all the legends and stuff, even back to Josh Johnson.
Did it look realistic?
Yeah, Joe Louis is in it. I mean,
I don't know a whole lot of boxing stuff, but from a fighting game perspective,
it looked great,
okay.
Especially for that. And like I said, I still play the game now. I'll still, once a year, I'll get a hair at my butt and be like, I'm gonna start a new boxer.
Can you start your own? Can you make your own?
Yeah, you make your guy and you start your career in the amateurs. And you fight your way through the amateur tournament, then you go pro, and then you select your fights, work your way up the card, up to get the 3 belts. Then you get to move up a weight class and fight there, and then retire as a Hall of Famer if you make it that good. But
what? It's that makes me think of. Are you familiar with the Def Jam game?
Yeah.
Fight for New York.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that because you're dealing with real people, so you're trying to get their moves and of course their stats, but you're trying to be as realistic as possible.
They are and they have the styles down, but then there's gonna be a lot of people just have these generic styles, and there's multiple smooth or power or quick,
right?
But then you've got straight up Ali, and it punches and
Ali in his prime.
Yeah, of course, but it punches the punches and everything. It looks like Ali or Roy Jones, and the punches look like Roy Jones punches, or Frazier, and that looks like that was his swing, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can and those people, they look like what you would see when you watch a video of them, right? The way they move, the way they throw their punches, the way they react. But then you can put like you create a character. I want all these punches, but I want to block like the Philly Shell. So I'm gonna have this block, and I'm gonna have him punch like Ali, or however you want to do it. You can mix and match them up like that for your own character. So oh, James Toney's on that bitch. Yeah, they got tons of people. So like it's just dope to be able to.
That's a huge roster.
Yeah, it's a huge roster of like real boxers and shit, and it's always fun to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna be a welterweight, and I'm gonna make me a welterweight and fight your way through the welterweight division all the way up, and you fight all the legends along the way. But it's always random. It's not like it's the same.
Oh.
It's not the same every time. The only thing that might be the same is like these three people might be the champions when you started off. But like the rankings and stuff, it's pretty random. Most of the names and legends are going to be up closer to the top, of course, based off of their ratings. But it's like ratings based where everybody is. So, and there's going to be like a bunch of characters that they just make up that you fight at the beginning. Like, you know, there might be a Billy Joseph. It's not a real person. It's just a fucking dude you got to beat up to get to some real niggas, you know?
It's like Punch Out.
Yeah, you go out there but you can get knocked the fuck out by these cats. You know what? Talking to you made me want to go fucking play this shit tonight. I might have to go throw some hands.
All right.
But yeah, like fight night, and then they have a great story mode where you play this boxer and his story, and you can unlock characters by going through the story mode. This guy goes to jail. He was a boxer. He goes to jail, and then you're into like having to do bare knuckle fights in jail with this boxer against these fucking Aryan Nation motherfuckers. It's a fucking boxing game. You're in there fucking fighting American History X. It's great. Like bare knuckle fighting in jail.
Well, is anything else outside of boxing going on?
No,
is
it's
there,
just
like
a boxing
management. Game. Is there like you go on the circuit?
No,
tournament
like
style.
No, that's all like in the story. There might be that, but like you're not controlling it. You're just doing the story mode. But
the story mode is because I mean, if you play against Jack Johnson, for example, and then Dempsey, and then you jump ahead.
That's not in the story mode. That's in like just your career mode. Because there's two different things. There's my career, and then there's like the story. And the story is about this guy Andre Bishop, and it's his story of him going to jail and coming back. But you're playing Andre Bishop and doing all the fights and stuff.
So you fighting everybody else?
In the story mode?
Yeah. Yeah,
you fight like all of his fights in the story mode. So in jail, you fight those fights, and then when you get out of jail and you get back into boxing and you're a sparring partner, you fight the sparring fights, and then you get back in the ring. His whole story, you go through the whole story.
Right, but you're not fighting legends, is what I'm saying.
No, that's all it's a scripted story. The legends and stuff is when you're doing like my career, where you create the back Zumanigi fucking character, and you you set your class, how you want to punch, make him look how you want him to look, put the tattoos and everything, and then you can fight whoever. They put you in an amateur tournament, and you fight in the amateur tournament. After that, you're a pro, and then you start booking your fights and stuff.
Okay.
And you have to do the training for the fight, so you know to build your boxer up. So you do all the trainings and stuff, resting him, all that shit. Get to the big fight, and then you don't even have like big fights until you break the top 15. Before that, you're just fighting in Mexico City or fucking wherever you need to fight.
Interesting. But I mean, if you were to fight all the legends, and then you'd have to like grow old with.
No. Because you do age. Like, there's years and stuff. So you start off and you can set your age. I would suggest setting your age at, 18. So that way you can...
Yeah, by the time you get to Tyson, you're like,
don't
35.
Start at, I'm 37, and then you just put in 37, and then your nigga gets knocked out real fast because you're 37 years old in the amateur tournament. And then you retire 3 years into your career. I never made it to the top. Well, you shouldn't have been 37. You could have been 18.
This is dumb.
Yeah, be 18 and fucking do your goddamn thing.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's dope. So you'll age up and your stats, your ratings go up. But then as you get older, you'll see them come back down. It's like, all right, well, you'll see where you can't.
But do you have to do like weight control? Do you have to train? You have to like
train. You do like
upgrade your level. You have to
unlock a hook. They've got like a bunch of you got all the basic punches and shit,
right?
All that, but like your right hook strength or you get like 100 something. You get points for fights. You get points for doing your training, which is like you can do heavy bag training where you have to actually do the combos that they're telling you to do on the heavy bag, or do just sparring. You get points for just sparring.
Run in the park.
None of that shit. But like the easiest way is just doing sparring. and through sparring you get a bunch of points. You take those points and you go give them to whatever stat you want to give them to make that better. So I was like, I'm gonna work on my left hook. So I got 5,000 points. I'm gonna spend 5,000 points on my fucking left hook.
Is Rocky in it?
The real person, yes. Not Rocky Balboa from the movie, but like
the
person that Rocky's based off of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's in there.
It would have been dope if they had Rocky in there and then Creed. And...
I think maybe in one of them they had them. I think maybe in like.
As it unlockable.
Yeah, like something.
That'd be interesting.
It was like Fight Night 4 or 3. 4, I think. I think you could get Rocky. But yeah, I think in Mr. T. But,
yes, that would be dope.
But Fight Night's dope. It's mad replayable. I've been playing that game since 2009.
Online?
No, like I got the game.
Yeah, but do you play online against other people?
Nah, because the servers aren't even really going anymore. Like, but when I was younger, like back in the day, like in 2012, 2013, when the servers were still popping and shit before Xbox One was a thing, yeah, I'd get on there and it was the worst. Because there'd be people that just leveled up like they're right straight to like 99. They had nothing else but like speed and right straight. And then as soon as the match started, they would just hit that button over and over again. And then just walk towards you hitting that button. And if you got hit with it, it was like an instant knockout. And that's all they had. And it was like, that's fucking whack. I want to have a fucking match. Like, I don't want to have to fucking dodge this dude and hit him with this. Like, it's trash.
I got you.
So right. I would rather have a match. What's your third game?
This is my all-time favorite game.
Mario Kart. I knew it.
No, man. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Mario Kart. It's Jet Set Radio Future.
What? Ready, Jet, go? What?
Jet Set Radio Future. Let me. If I told you that there was a game, so this is a sequel to Jet Ground Radio that came out on Dreamcast in 1999.
Okay.
Remember the Dreamcast, the Sega console that failed? Because PlayStation came out a year later. So Jet Set Radio, the premise is simple. You're playing a bunch of kids on roller skates. It's cel shaded graphics.
Okay.
So look cartoony, right? You're playing these kids on roller skates and you throw graffitis on walls. And they dance. And there's gangs. There's like you go into a turf, right? And then the turf is run by these guys called the Noise Tanks. Or called I forgot the other one. Poison Jam. And then the way for you to take over their turf is to cover their turf with your graffiti. So all you do is roller skate around, grind on everything, and then throw your graffitis on the walls, on the buses, on the windows, on the street signs, and all that stuff.
That sounds like every summer R. Kelly had in the 90s. Roll around town, grind on everything, and spray your shit on the walls.
Yes! Oh, man, that was good. All right. I saw you were thinking the whole time I was talking.
It was like...
yeah, that's R. Kelly shit.
Suspect.
Yeah, without the P and just straight graffiti.
Grind on everything, straight
the thing about Jet Set Radio is that, one, you're doing all that, and then the cops come after you while you're doing it. And then the mafia comes after you.
Why would the mafia come after you?
Because you're trying to... Like, the plot was just... I don't even remember the plot of Jet Ground Radio. But it was like... somebody's trying to take over all the city, and then you're playing these kids that you start with like one kid, and then as you go along you recruit more kids to come on your crew. And all the kids look different. One of them is a big black dude with a gold chain with a boombox on his shoulder, and that's how he skates. And again, and there's a theme to all my favorite games is the soundtrack. The soundtrack had Jurassic 5 on it. The soundtrack had it's by this composer named Hideki Naganuma, and it's very funky, very like housey, and and the thing that was so great is that there were songs. It wasn't like one continuous. It's not like you go to the stage, and this is the song to the stage. Think of it like a mixtape.
Yeah, kind of like Tony Hawk.
Right, kind of like that.
Tony Hawk 3 had like an awesome soundtrack.
Right, or Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that, right? So there's a song that you hear, the radio dial, and then it moves on to the next song. And so you basically try to take over these different turfs with your characters, and then your crew gets bigger, and you have a garage where you can well pick which character you want, but they all had unique abilities. Some of them were better at acceleration, some others were better at grinding, some others were better at like turning corners or stuff like that. So that was the first one. The second one came out in 2002, and it was the reason why I bought an Xbox, the original Xbox, because I love J Ground Radio. I actually burned the thing on DVD so I can play it because I would pirate all my Dreamcast games back in the day. And then they announced Jet Set Radio, and I saw the trailer. And I was like, "Holy fuck!" They took that concept from that first one, and fucking multiplied it by 100. The soundtrack was better. They had the awesomeness was on the soundtrack. The worlds are bigger. Now you grind on every. You can do a whole level without touching the ground, and you collecting the spray cans. And it used to be in the first one you would have to stop in front of a wall, and you had to like this like how you call it. It'll say, "Hey, arrow down," so you go arrow down, and then quarter circle up, quarter circle left. In the second one, you just spray the wall, and you can also make your own graffiti of different sizes. Install that on your Xbox and use that in the game. And then you can the soundtrack you would unlock also as you played, so that you can find tapes in the different worlds where you would now you get more songs on your soundtrack. And then again you're you're playing this kid, and this time it's about this guy who wants to like control the city with like he had this like uh um this music he wants to like play throughout the city to hypnotize people, trying to stop them from that. But before that, you're just going from one area of the city to the next, just spray painting shit. So there's actually games
There's
like
no fighting.
no, there's games where after you're done spray painting a turf, like the gang actually comes out, and now you're playing a game of tag with them. So you have to like spray their backs as they skate throughout the area, and areas are huge. You're going on roller coaster like tracks. You're on skyscrapers. You're on a bus stop with a bunch of what's it called? Rails everywhere,
Yeah.
like a Shibuya terminal, which is like very popular in Japan.
Alice in Borderland.
What?
Shibuya.
Oh yeah. It's known. It's a real
It's
place.
like the setting for Alice in Borderland.
Right. So that's how um, they set up the thing. There's also you can race. You can do races if you want. And as far as getting more characters, one you have to find them in each world, each area of the city, and second they challenge you to something. They'll say, "Hey, I'm gonna do these tricks, and I need you to do the same thing." And then if you do
Kind
it
of
three
like
times,
horse.
huh?
Like horse.
Like a basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
So he's gonna go jump on this rail, jump on that rail, jump on that rail. Grind on this billboard, jump back through a window. You have to do the same thing,
Right.
right? And if you do that three times, then you get them. Or it's like, hey, I'm gonna race you through the sewers. Yeah, you find the exit. I'm gonna race you through the sewers. Cool. So you have to go through that, and so I keep going back to this game to this day, um, because I don't even think I've beaten it with everything. As far as you also unlock more graffitis, and they're actually pretty dope looking graffitis. And there's like five different sizes.
Yeah.
The ones that are like just you go once. Other ones you have like six different things, like spots to hit. Like as you grind on it or you roll skate on top of it, you get into some areas where you're like in this industrial complex, and there's a freaking tank coming at you, and to beat the tank, you have to like circle around it and then spray paint like the top of it. So everything is your weapon is literally graffiti. That's all you can do. And so the soundtrack, man, same thing. Like I played it. My son loves it. So it's very funky. Or Anyway, so unfortunately, the game was a failure in sales. It only sold like 80,000 units in the U.S.
Okay.
and even less in Japan. And the problem was they bundled it with the console. Like it wasn't doing well, so they bundled it with the console, so they were not making money. The developer company who built the game went out of business, and but it remained a Sega property, and no one since 2002 has stepped in to say, hey, it's time to like remake this, because there's been talks on Reddit and forums like, yo, we need another Jet Set Radio, because that it became such a cult following, and every once in a while the composer, the guy would like drop clues on Twitter going, hey, uh, I'm working with this other company, they're making like a Jet Set Radio like game that's coming out soon, or hey, I'm still going out there, I'm still producing music, so here's some of the stuff I did, and you'll hear some Jet Set Radio influence in what I'm doing. So all these years, I'm talking 2002, so 20 years ago, and I swear to God, every 2 to 3 months I would Google Jet Set Radio 3. Is it coming out? Any news on that? Any news on that? There was actually a small developing team that went in front of Sega and kind of redid it, like the not redid it. They just took the characters, made them look better. You know, very bright colors, looks dope. And Sega went, nah, we ain't doing it. We're not doing it. And this was maybe 6, 7 years ago. So nothing for 20 years. And people are like, yo, you keep remaking these dumbass games, and you don't understand. Like, there's huge. It sucked that it failed as a game,
Right.
but
But nobody's listening to 80,000 people.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, right, we can make that again, or we can go remake this other game that, actually sold millions first time around.
We'll remake DuckTales before we do this.
Yeah.
Like, we'll remake. We'll put money into the adaptation of Uncharted before we do this. We'll put money into Mass Effect or whatever.
Because they're really good.
No, don't get me wrong, they're good.
They're really good.
Yes, I believe you.
Yeah.
But
nobody's heard of this game.
So here's what happened.
Ever.
Last fall, it was announced that Sega, they were going to do another Jet Set Radio.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, 20 years later.
Nuh-uh. For real?
Yeah. So the only thing that was announced is they said they're developing a new IP in the Jet Set Radio series. They also talked about Crazy Taxi. So those were the two. Because Crazy Taxi is another game that came out on Dreamcast that was in the arcade that changed the game. Nobody's touched that.
There was like 3 Crazy Taxi. They came out with a couple of
Crazy
Taxi.
But there was a mobile one that didn't work. There were like 2 or 3 other ones, but those didn't work.
Right.
But those were a long time ago. Nobody's touched it since. So Sega said, hey, there's going to be another Jet Set Radio. There's no timeline, no nothing, no name for it. So I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. With what we have today, we can, that could be done. But some other like indie developer company called, I forgot the name, Cyberpunk something. No, Team Reptile. Sorry, Team Reptile. They did this thing called Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which is literally like Jet Set Radio's stepchild. And it's actually, the music is from the dude from Jet Set Radio.
Oh, okay.
But it looks very similar, cell shaded, very funky, very bright colors. You grind on things. You can do it by bike or they run or whatever. But yeah, Jet Set Radio to this day, as far as gameplay, music, the characters dance. Like if you leave them there, they start breakdancing. Some of them pop and lock. Some of them do windmills. Some of them.
That's all your shit.
No, seriously.
That's all your shit. I honestly thought that you were going to come out here for your third one and say Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, fuck that shit.
That's what I honestly thought you were going to say.
No.
Let me explain to you why this dog can rap so good. All right.
This flat ass doll with no dimension.
You know what that game reminded me of?
Paper Mario?
No, not that game. Jet Set Radio?
Jet Set Radio, yeah.
Your description of it kind of reminded me of Midnight Club. And Midnight Club was a game I was considering bringing up, but it's a racing game though.
Yeah, I remember it was a car game. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not a big racing game dude, because most of them it's like all like even Need for Speed and all that. It's like on this track that you have to go, and even when it was through the city, you had to turn. They told you where you had to turn. Midnight Club, there was none of that. It was a street racing game, kind of like Fast and Furious, the original Fast and Furious, like street racing.
Mm-hmm.
But like they just showed you on your little compass icon thing, like where the next checkpoint was, but they didn't tell you how to get there.
Interesting.
So if you fucked up and missed your turn, you just fucked up and missed your turn. Like you gotta fucking.
I like when they kind of like flip the script on the genre.
Yeah, where you could then wing it and fuck it, I'll cut down this street and catch up to them this way. But yeah, if you missed it, then you fucked up. And they had some races that were like unordered races, where you can get them in any order. You can hit the checkpoints in any order, so you didn't have to go a specific way through the track to get the checkpoints. Just whoever got all the checkpoints and ended at the finish line first won the race. So and I love Midnight Club. Like that's on my Xbox right now.
Do you remember a game named Driver, back on PC back in the day? It was on PlayStation too.
No.
Where you play a getaway driver, so it's a racing
game. Like
the
movie with Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, it was the other dude, Ryan Gosling.
Same person.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're all Matt Damon.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but you play a getaway driver. Like you stop at a bank and then they go, okay, you're gonna be the dude. And then you have to like get them out.
No, I never played that.
That's pretty dope. But anyway, so let's recap because we're at 140.
Bet. My three most replayable games, and this would be my order. We'll go Mass Effect, Fight Night, Fallout 2.
Like 1 to 3 or 3 to 1?
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 3 would be Mass Effect. Or actually, let's go. Number 3 is Fallout 2 because I can't play it. I gotta find a way to get.
You gotta open that door eventually.
I do. I know. God, if it was like accessible to me right now, then it would be number 1. If Fallout,
guess what you're getting for your birthday? I'm gonna get you an old PC with a CD-ROM.
Yo, my children wouldn't see me for 6 months. If it was accessible, then it would be number 1. But I'll go Fallout 2 is number 3. Fight Night Champion is my number 2, and Mass Effect 3 is number 1.
That makes sense. I love the Mass Effect concept. That's pretty cool.
It's a great game.
So mine, and there's a pattern here, is dope gameplay, dope music. That's you'll get me if you do that.
Yeah.
Or if it's there'll be another conversation. But Mega Man X, I did it in the order actually. Mega Man X, Streets of Rage 2. Well, Mega Man X on Super Nintendo or whatever, I think it's on. You can download it on your PlayStation maybe. There's a Mega Man collection. Yeah. Streets of Rage 2, which is on Genesis or whatever Genesis Mini. And Jet Set Radio Future, I think you can download it. It was remade, like an HD version of it on like the newer platforms, newer consoles, but it came out on the original Xbox, and that's what I play it on. And to this day, I have a playlist of the entire soundtrack, and I will jam to that shit on my way to taking my picking up my son, and we jam on the way home. That's what we do. Jet Set Radio. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's a DJ in Jet Set Radio.
Mr. Brownstone?
No, Mr. Professor K.
Same thing.
No, or dude with dreads with sunglasses on.
Close enough. Close enough.
That's Brownstone. Anyway, so that's the new format of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll, whatever topic, we'll announce it ahead of time, or it doesn't matter. I don't care, but I want to try it out because I think I'm not that I'm tired of talking to comedy, but
you want to have different conversations.
Yes, I want to have, because I believe that. Even comics are into different things than just comedy. Yeah. Comics who are into just comics are boring.
Some of us bake cakes, bitch.
All right, Master Baker, rather. All right, where can people find you?
I'll be outside of Target.
Slinging them cakes.
Slinging cakes, nigga. I told you there was 2 callbacks.
I know it's coming.
I'll be on the Keenan thing next week. This weekend... You can't find me there. I'll be in Dallas, though, Thursday through Sunday. That's going to be dope. Doing 6 shows in Dallas. Find me at Instagram, Aaron Cheatham. How about that?
Yeah, just do that. Follow the dude. Follow the feedback. Follow Record Play Live on Instagram.
My birthday's coming up. Send me stuff.
Yeah. Somebody get him Fallout 2 so he can open that fucking door.
One of y'all give me Fallout 2. The other one give me a PC.
I would love it if you open the door and you just get a cake and that's the ending.
It's just my character sitting there all bloody and sad eating cake.
Congratulations. Game over.
All of his squad mates dead around him, and he's just sitting there eating cake.
I love that. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you next time. So no dope shit because everything we talked about is dope. So check out what we just mentioned, and we'll talk to you next time. Ciao, ciao.